Peter Thiel seems to be all the rage at the moment, Andrew. I don't know if you've seen this. You probably have. But a lot of people have been talking about Peter Thiel and transhumanism and how they think that Peter Thiel is basically using his influence to puppet master various different people like J.D. Vance into office. And some people even think that Peter Thiel might be an antichrist of sorts. So he sat down with a guy named Ross Douthat.
Because of Palantir?
Because of Palantir, yeah. A little bit because of Palantir and also like the whole PayPal mafia thing. Some people are pretty invested in these sorts of theories. Let's get into it.
We are like in almost total stagnation.
But the world of AI is clearly filled with people who, at the very least, seem to have a more utopian, transformative, whatever word you want to call it, view of the technology than you're expressing here, right? And you were mentioned earlier the idea that the modern world used to promise radical life extension and doesn't anymore. It seems very clear to me that a number of people deeply involved in artificial intelligence see it as a kind of mechanism for transhumanism, for transcendence of our mortal flesh, and either some kind of creation of a successor species or some kind of merger of mind and machine.
Okay, so let's start with a take. So as he's diving into this, he sets this up like this with AIDS Pete over there. He says, look, used to be that there was a promise, a great promise, which was sold to everybody post-industrialization, basically, that the future is going to be full of 350-year-olds because, man, we're going to have the products that reverse aging. Nobody's going to die. We're this close to that technology. And that seems to have been a massively failed promise. It's as much of a failed promise as the flying car, the Back to the Future hoverboard, right? All of these things, complete and total fiction that just never came to fruition. In some ways, we ended up with more advanced technology than Star Trek. They have a button communicator, right? They push the button and communicate. That was advanced technology when they were, talking about it when Star Trek came out as a show in the 50s. But now, of course, we have these handheld computer devices, which they weren't even envisioning at the time. But in other ways, like these ideas of biological confines and constraints, we haven't moved past any of them, really. In fact, if you, Jake, right now, if you adjust for infant mortality, people live right now about as long as they've always lived. So once you got past the age of I don't remember what it was, 7 or 8, people lived about the same amount that they live right now. Technology hasn't particularly assisted with longevity.
So that's
nearly as much
why
as
life
was promised.
expectancy goes up, because infant mortality goes up as well. Infant mortality goes down.
Goes down, yes, that's correct.
Right. Okay. But so were people living to 80, 90? Because I know that in other places of the world,
they were living,
in Africa,
they were living
in
to,
Asia, for example, that it's pretty common for people to die at 40, 50.
In Asian countries, it's not. In Asian countries, it's very common for them to live 70,
in
80,
East
90,
Asian, it's not.
100 years old, and it's because of the diets that they all have, right?
In East
especially
Asian
eating
countries.
Yeah, especially eating a lot of fish and things like this. But still, those are very humid conditions, which are brutal on people. But they were able to conform and adapt to them. Same thing if you look at ages reporting in ancient Greece and places like this. It wasn't uncommon for men to die in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. So no, we haven't really gotten in the way of longevity. This promise has been failed. It's a failed promise, essentially, for futurists, that there's going to be this great kind of health longevity. In fact, it's the opposite. Now people are fatter than ever.
Yeah.
They have way more general problems like high blood pressure, allergies,
chronic disease,
allergies to wheat, allergies to soy, allergies themselves, which are, just all part of inflammation. These are things that the human body hasn't really experienced much in our history. And now all of a sudden it's rampant. So I would say we actually regressed quite a bit rather than progressed towards this idea of the future of being, these kind of like 250, 350-year-old people, which is what we were promised.
And do you think that's just all kind of irrelevant fantasy? Or do you think it's just hype? Do you think people are trying to raise money by pretending that we're going to build a machine god, right? Is it hype? Is it delusion? Is it something you worry about? I think you would prefer the human race to endure, right?
Uh,
You're
yeah.
hesitating.
Well,
yes.
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit
Should
in
the
this.
human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But I also would I also would like us to radically solve these problems.
Right.
And so, it's always, I don't
All right,
know.
pause it there. So Thiel gets upset here for a second, right? He doesn't show it, but his mind is kind of whirling. So the question which is asked to him, technology itself, is it going to solve this issue of aging? Are we going to have what we consider the machine god? Are we going to have to make people into cybernetic organisms in order to attack these problems? And Thiel's answer here, of course, he doesn't want to bluntly say yes, but of course the answer is yes. They all believe that machine technology merging with humanity is the way forward. And by the way, these elites have always believed this shit.
Transhumanism is this, the ideal was this radical transformation where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body. And there's a critique of, let's say, the trans people in a sexual context, or I don't know, a transvestite is someone who changes their clothes and cross dresses. And a transsexual is someone where you change your, penis into a vagina. And we can then debate how well those surgeries work. But we want more transformation than that. The critique is not that it's weird and unnatural. It's so pathetically little. And okay, we want more than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind.
Interestingly enough,
Yep.
Right? People will often say that transgenderism has nothing to do at all with transhumanism or futurism. But here, what is Peter Thiel saying?
He's saying that it's not enough. It's only the first.
Well, he's saying that actually this is tied in with transhumanism. The idea that you can move yourself out of the confines of how you were born, and you're confined by your biology. We can change that. But unfortunately, it's pathetically small. Like the amount of progress we've made in these arenas is pathetically small. And the biggest problem with these guys when they're playing God is that they forget that biology is extraordinarily complex, very difficult, and still in medicine, most of it's guesswork. We pretend it's not, but most of it is. You don't know if you're going to do a surgery, the person's going to die. You have no idea. You just say, okay, well, we've done this 700 times this way and it's worked, but you, Mr. 701, you have a bad reaction to a scalpel, you're dead right there on the table. Biology is far too complex for them to be grafting these ideas of making you into something other than human. It's not just that we're not advanced enough. You just don't really understand the complexities involved with biology itself. It's extraordinarily complex.
Yeah, and it's just like people have such a profound fear of death, and the further we get away from God, and the further we get away from having religious societies, the more people are going to go towards these sort of AI transhumanist ideas. Because especially if you're an atheist, you really don't want to die, because that's it. You're worm food, and there's nothing else beyond that. And the physical body
Which is really stupid.
Is actually everything, right?
Well, that's really stupid, though. It's like the absence of experience, though. Shouldn't be a prospect which atheists hate. The whole idea there is like they're not going to ever know it, and nothing they ever did mattered anyway. And even if, by the way, there's a mathematical calculation out there. If you were immortal, you would die anyway. Did you know that? So if it was the case that you were able to make a person, right, functionally immortal, meaning that they would never die of aging or disease, they would still die. Eventually, just via the odds, they're going to do something over the span of thousands of years, which is going to kill them. Crossing the wrong street, something like this. They're still going to die anyway.
True.
You can't beat death. You can't beat the Reaper, man. He comes for everybody. And people have been trying forever. The Fountain of Youth, the idea of a Philosopher's Stone, the idea of all of these different things for immortality. If I remember correctly, it was the Spanish who they were trying to follow Indian legends to a great fountain of youth as well. It's always bullshit. And the reason that they can't promise this and the reason they've made so little progress to this is because you can't really fundamentally change that process. The human experience is this day we're born, we begin decaying. And that's it. It's part of the life cycle.
Now he talks about the Christian side, like the Orthodox Christian view on it, which is interesting.
Organs. We want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind and change your whole body. And then Orthodox Christianity, by the way, the critique Orthodox Christianity has of this is these things don't go far enough. Like that transhumanism is just changing your body, but you also need to transform your soul and you need to transform your whole self. And so,
right.
Yeah.
But the other way,
Stop here. Okay. So he's a idiot. And that's not the Orthodox view at all. The soul is part of you, period. It's part of what makes you human. The transformation, it's not even a transformation effect necessarily of the soul. What it is part of theosis, becoming more Christ-like. Your soul is you. There's no separation. It's not that you can have a human being absent a soul, or you can have a soul absent a body. It's all one thing. It's part of the ontology that makes a person up as a man. And no, Orthodoxy does not move towards these crazy ass transhumanist ideas of mending or melding machines together with men so that you can go traipse, through Mars or whatever it is in your crazy ass dystopian future. Can you get a heart transplant? Yeah, sure. Of course you can get an organ transplant. That's not critical to your ontology. Your body and your soul, though, you're one. As a human, both of those components make you up as a human. There's no separation between the two. What are you transforming in your soul? Does your soul become something else? No. No, your soul does not become something else. So what does it transform into? What he's talking about is transforming a human into something that's not actually a human anymore. The parts are interchangeable, right? And that is not the Orthodox view. Crazy asshole.
Yeah, I thought that was such a weird take, such a strange take that actually Orthodox Christians would support this because they believe in the idea of transforming yourself and your heart and your mind. But it's not actually transforming your physical heart and getting a bionic
Well,
heart.
first of all,
You've got a
you
better
aren't doing
heart.
that anyway. It's the participation in God's energies which does this, not you, right? You don't have the ability to transform your soul. You don't even have access to this. That's not a thing that you even have direct access to. It's through the participations, the energies of God that you can even formulate these things. That's all what makes you a person, right? You're not transforming. Orthodoxy does not believe you should transform away from your very humanity, right? That's not Orthodox.